अभी हम उनके साथ काम कर रहे थे, वो हमारे ऑपोजिट थे, अभी आप उनकी मम्मी हैं. आई थिंक आई एम वर्किंग मोर देन आई वर्कड इन द लास्ट 10 years ऑफ माई लाइफ. वो भी अपना काम कर रहे हैं, उनकी भी रोजी रोटी है, बट दे हैज टू बी अ लाइन. आजकल कोई भी ऐसे लेके वीडियो बना रहा होगा, यू शुड फील safe, you should be able to feel secure.
For all film related interviews, reviews, and content, please like and subscribe to Pooja Talwar. You can also follow me on Twitter and on Instagram.
Many congratulations, Yami. As I always say, the fate of the film could be anything, but you always walk away with the applause.
Thank you. Thank you, Pooja. I mean, up to fate also to, of a film, it's so subjective to everything. And but हाँ, अगर एक कुछ अच्छी बात है अगर किसी फिल्म में कुछ भी है, that also stands out. That also people are very vocal about it. So I'm really glad that people are liking the film and liking my performance and liking what the film is trying to do.
Absolutely. And, also the fact that I've noticed over the years, you have, started helming. I mean, I don't want to say female-oriented, women-oriented narrative. I'm not saying that, but this is what Mr. Bhansali also said. They used to always say female-oriented film hai, but he also proved with Gangu by ticking all the wrong boxes that an actor can carry the movie on the shoulder as long as the story is good. But you've become the face of depicting these very strong, independent women. And that's kind of really nice. Also, I think it's encouraging also of the times that directors are wanting to showcase and the audience is wanting to see these films.
Absolutely, Pooja. I think I always feel anyone who does this, even if not me, but somebody else, and a film like that becomes a success, it opens avenues and doors for 4 more opportunities for 4 other actresses. And I think for me, that's my definition of, when you talk about equality or better space being given to female actors, or better roles being written. And I completely agree with you. The whole idea of women-centric script, or women leading it, I think it's going to get washed away very soon. It's the character. It's really the character. It doesn't matter to the audience. We can use as many terminologies as we want, which sounds very fancy, but at the end of the day, it's the character and how the story is, as you said, and how well or not you've performed in the film. So I'm only and only for those films. Just alone subject being strong is not enough. Just alone, oh, I have to helmet, that's not enough. No, I'm here, I'm an actor, my job, I'm here to collaborate with some really fine talent and work on different good stories. That is what we need. बाकी और इसके पीछे बहुत ज्यादा कोई मैथ नहीं है.
सही में. But कभी कभी actresses ये भी कहती हैं, कभी कभी you need that commercial film, helmed by the hero, and वहाँ जा आप बचाए जाते हैं. After I'm seeing the actors like you are like, I don't need the saving, I'll save myself. आप अपने को बचा लो. So do you do it like that, or is there like a conscious decision that I rather forge my own path than giving away to the box office dynamics and the formula that are expected of me?
Right. I think, Pooja, I figured that, especially since 2019, that while there'll always be room and space for every kind of film, and as you said, that, that maybe the damsel in distress, I don't know if that's really going to work as a characterization, but definitely not for me. Even if I choose to do a very commercial film, it'll have to have me doing something substantial in it. I can't be just there merely as a presence anymore. I've always wanted to do this. That's why I had a debut with a film like Vicky Donor, but people forget very soon. And now, they feel, now we feel you were right, and now we feel you doing all these roles. But I'm like, I did that right with my first film also. I was trying to do the same thing. But there's always a better time for things. I don't think for me it'll really work, although I love song, I love dance, I'd love to do that. And I don't know how commercial, but my idea is जो भी film करो, चाहे Lost जैसी film है, या A Thursday थी, thank you, या आने वाली चोर है, या धूमधाम, या oh my god, it should be commercial in the sense that people should enjoy it. That's the whole idea. You don't want to make films for yourself. You're not making it only for certain. Of course, some subjects will have only a certain niche audience. That's okay. There should be every kind of film. But I would want to reach out to as many people as possible and audience to enjoy films.
Absolutely. And also they say, films do encourage audiences. Sometimes we don't take the good away from cinema, but we can take a lot of good away from the kind of narratives that, actors
Yeah.
like you are choosing to help. And also अभी मैं ऑडियंस के जरा सवाल लेती हूँ. फर्स्टली तो congratulations बहुत लोगों से आए हैं. एक सवाल अमित who runs a Yami Gautam fan club says Bengali में बात करना कैसा लगा?
बंगाली एक्चुअली पहली फिल्म के बाद तो सबको यही लगा था कि मैं बंगाली हूँ. पूरा चंडीगढ़ was also convinced that I'm a Bengali because Ashima was an out and out, she's a Bengali girl and you can't get more Bengali than Ashima or Roy. But you have to give it to Shujitda for that. The way he conceptualized the character and made me look, Bengali, because I remember the first time when we started doing the readings. I cleared the audition, I cleared the screen test and everything, but he told me, he said, I really like your work, what I saw on camera, but you're very Punjabi. You're too Punjabi for me. You're too North Indian for me. You have to really work on your diction, on your speech, and just divide your speed of talking by a great number. So we really worked on that. In Lost, I'm not a Bengali girl, but it's like you've come from another city, another town, and settled in Kolkata. So I'm really comfortable with, wherever we could punch in, wherever we could put in little Bangla. I think we've tried to do that. And Pooja, I find the language really sweet. Once there was an incident. I was shooting for Lost only, and my character was supposed to travel in a taxi, and it was all real location, real crowd, and there was no background artist or any those choreographed cars or anything. And somebody stopped our car, and that person just started fighting with my driver. That hey, जिम्मेदारी kotha hai, eh? And but I just found it so amusing. I found it so amusing. It didn't feel like a fight to me. I didn't smile in the take because I was not supposed to. But after the take, I ran to Dada. I said, Dada, did you hear? Did you see what he was talking? And he's like, Are you happy? And I'm very happy. I don't know. I know he's fighting, but I'm just loving the sound of, Bangla. I think it's a very sweet language. So I've always enjoyed listening to, Bengali, and whenever I can punch in a little bit, and I try and do that.
Very mishti, as you're right. So दूसरा सवाल आपके लिए है, how was it playing? Was it tough to play a journalist and working with Pankaj sir?
Tough. I don't know if tough I should use the word. It was challenging. It was challenging because we have seen such characters before on screen also, even internationally. But the whole idea was to break all those notions and not to follow a very stereotypical kind of a way. Dada wanted his Vidhi to be very natural, very of course there are moments where you can flare up and you can just completely lose it depending on the situation, but overall she's someone who can very blend very easily, and anyone who's watching the film should still be able to, regardless of the profession they're in, should be able to connect with this character. And I thought that was very interesting, because as actors we are conditioned कि अच्छा अगर इस तरह का डायलॉग है या कुछ है, आपको चिल्ला के ही बात करनी है या एक सर्टेन सुर में ही बात करनी है. I think the tone of this character in the film was very subtle, was very natural. So I really enjoyed that. Like Dada was like constantly, less is more, Yummy. Just remember, less is more. Just be natural. So sometimes you feel as an actor कि पक्का हो गया? Is it done? Because we're so used to कि और होना चाहिए और ज़्यादा. But even the way he shot the film, I thought Avigda has done a fantastic job in the film. It was very natural. So had its own sets of challenges. The locations were quite a challenge, a lot of things, but I knew in my heart that it's all going to be worth in the end. And Pankaj sir, of course, I don't know what more adjectives to use to describe my experience working with the legendary Pankaj Kapoor. I'm so glad he agreed to play my Nanu. And things which could easily be passed off as अरे ये थोड़ा प्रीची है, ये लाइन थोड़ा सा बहुत कौन सुनेगा इस तरह की बातें या इस तरह की लाइन आज के टाइम में. But that's the mark of a great actor. I think he did it so beautifully and so seamlessly. and I got to experience it live in front of my eyes, how what he does just before the take, and what is it that makes him, you know, and his character so memorable that even years later we like every day I would pick up one film of his and I'd say, Pankaj sir, aap us film ke bare mein bataiye. I didn't want to make a very question answer kind of thing because I thought that'll be, I'm sure he must be used to. I didn't want to bug him too much, but he was so nice to me, and he would just, you know, laugh and just smile and just look back at his past work with a lot of fond memories. And I think that's a mark of any genius actor. I think they don't take themselves so seriously when they're not working. They're very natural, they're very normal. They'll talk about maybe anything but films. And I really enjoyed working with Pankaj. So that was a great learning for me.
And another thing that recently also struck me is all the top actors, Bollywood, the commercially viable mainstream actors like you, are Mrs. Bollywood, as I say. They are all married. They have defied that norm कि एक्ट्रेस की जी शादी के बाद वैसे पहले टाटा बाय बाय हो जाती थी ना, अब तो आपको कौन देखना चाहेगा रोमांटिक में, आपको कौन. But that day I was just sitting and I was telling all these young girls with me, I said, now Kiara being the recent, there is you, there's Deepika, there's Anushka, there's Alia. They're all married and giving blockbusters left, right, center. I mean, just defied that norm, saying that our professions are far from over, which is also very encouraging for other people too. You remember the time when actresses used to hide their marriage, or marriage ke baad they used to say, "Acha, bye bye, main chali jati to."
I remember, and I watched those interviews also, and I remember having this conversation with you about it right after my wedding, because I watched those interviews, Hema G's and so many, all the legendary actors, where, yeah, suddenly they said just with that one day of marriage, just things or the kind of roles that we would get would just change. Suddenly, अभी हम उनके साथ काम कर रहे थे, वो हमारे opposite थे, अभी आप उनकी मम्मी हैं. So and I can't imagine that time. It must be so suffocating as an actor and so frustrating. And today there is so much awareness and there's so much conversation about these things. I don't know if it was back then. Although, you know, in my free time or before sleeping, I love watching these years of these interviews of you know, some actors who've been there, and I think they were really well spoken. They were very well articulated, very well spoken. I mean, even the interviews had a certain pattern and so much clarity of thought that and they said all these things, and I'm sure it must be so difficult. But today, that's what I'm saying. I think audience को कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. I don't know, was it because the industry was really overthinking and really thought कि पड़ेगा फर्क या पड़ता था. I don't know. But today, you see, it really doesn't matter. All they want is a really entertaining film or a good film or whatever they feel they're watching, and they connect with that kind of film. And that's great. I think I'm working more than I've worked in the last 10 years of my life. The last 3 years have been extremely busy for me, and all for great reason. Not for me, I mean, for everyone. So if anyone who's casting you or not casting you bases your marital status, then you're not the right, at least for me, I'm not the right fit for that kind of film. And you have to give it to the audience. That shows that they're progressive, that shows that they really don't differentiate. ये सब हमारे norms हैं, notions हैं जो शायद हम एक दिमाग में बैठ जाते हैं. I'm sure even actors used to hide their marriages.
His marriage curiosity से पहले मेरा chocolate boy status ना चला जाए.
But अब कितनी अच्छी बात है, you know, that you can talk about it, you can celebrate it with people, you can just be yourself and understand that that's your job. This is my job, and my job ends here, and this is my life beyond my job, which is really important. So I'm so glad that a lot of things which have come, I think now at this point where we are talking, I feel it's heading towards something really progressive.
Absolutely. But also उनको होता था ना, the audience won't be able to fantasize. Now this comes to something which a lot of female actors have been talking about, that Alia also posted, is the stalking. Like your privacy. I'm sure you've also faced it. You know, the constant questions, शादी कैसे हुई, marriage में क्या होते हैं. Sometimes you don't want to discuss it. But there seems to be that interest, that whole culture of clickbait headlines and all that.
Yeah.
What do you make of it what do you really make of this? Because as even Rakul said, that I am not acting 24/7. Like you are not acting 24/7. घर जाके you're somebody's wife, you're somebody's daughter. But वही है, आपने भी एक इंसिडेंट बोला था जब आप चंडीगढ़ जाते थे, सब बोलते थे अन्ना मैंने 10 ऐसे हो रहे हैं इंडस्ट्री में, because even if I said everyone only wants to know cost.
Yeah. I think we've made gossip and these things very human, a very normal part of, I think, our lives. This culture of clickbait and the fact everybody has a cell phone in their hands today. Everybody or anyone is a reporter. Anyone is a paparazzi. I was traveling I was in Himachal, and I was going to my farm, and on the way between Chandigarh and where my farm is, my nanka is there, my nani's place. I've lost her. She is no more. I lost her last year. And I just wanted to visit my uncle, just a normal thing. And that was the first time I was visiting after she had passed away. And it was a very different feeling. It's a very different emotion. And the moment I stepped out, that's the last place I imagine people to be standing there with cameras, because someone must have seen the car. Now, while I understand that everyone is trying to make a living, and in every nook and corner, चाहे आप बड़ा शहर ले लीजिए, जैसे बॉम्बे या वहां पर, but I requested, I said, please, this is not the time. This was not the time where I felt like talking. अच्छा अब नानी के घर आए, आप बताइए, आप एक बार इनके साथ खड़े हो जाइए अपने. They'd come to see me off. And I felt really uncomfortable. I felt really, yeah, of course. I mean, all our lives we've again conditioned कि वो भी अपना काम कर रहे हैं, उनकी भी रोजी रोटी है. But there has to be a line. There has to be a line, because we're creating these monsters. It's a self-created monster, and it's there's never going to be enough of it. This whole, we so used to it now कि अच्छा कि मैं वही देखती हूँ कि जब मैं कोई फोटो देखती हूँ, कोई किसी के घर से निकल रहा है, तो कोई बच्चों के साथ जा रहा है, कहीं जा रहा है, like that whole joy of just being yourself, just taking a walk, or just walking your kids or yourself. आप किसी धुन में हैं, आप किसी अपने उस पे हैं, but now you have to be conscious all the time. I don't think we may pass it off and say कि अच्छा कि that's life, that's a digital age, you signed up for it, we didn't ask you to become a public figure. Yeah, but there has to be a line drawn.
Absolutely. One feels violated also.
Absolutely. It's really not done. I read that post, and absolutely, I'm sure it happened with one person. It's happened with everyone at some point of time where you felt that this is a space that it can't be encroached, and definitely not. You should feel safe. You should be able to feel secure. And you should be able to everyone deserves to have a life. This is not what we signed up for. This is not what. That's too much. That's expecting too much to be okay with everything. No, you can't be okay with everything. And just and अगर किसी की job है या किसी का bread butter है, there are ways of finding that balance. You can't make people, and it's an industry which is relying on each other. So if one section is extremely upset about something, we have to coexist. We have to really respect that and respect some basic fundamentals of living, of just being yourself. And then you come around and ask about again acha mental health and these things. कहीं ना कहीं ये चीजें psychologically बिल्कुल impact करती हैं कि अच्छा मैं वहां जाऊंगी या वो मेरा पर्सनल वहां पे कोई फोन, और आजकल कोई भी ऐसे लेके वीडियो बना रहा होगा. Some boy again came on my farm, very young boy, a teenager, must be 19, 20, and requested my staff, can we take a picture? And I'm very open, about welcoming people. It's a small town and people want to come and visit and talk. And I'm very happy to do that. So I thought he's taking a picture, but he was taking a video. And it was so bad. And that person apparently got millions of views, and he's celebrating his vlog, which I think it's called vlogging, right?
Yeah.
That now it may seem कि अरे I'm so happy मुझे comments मिल गए, but that means that has encouraged that person to do it again with somebody
and encourage others to do it.
And which they did. They all came again at home with cameras, and they're taking a tour of my home, and I'm like, what is happening? Where are we going? And you making this so normal for your next generation, your kids at home and everyone. So may absolutely, there has to be a line drawn, and everything is not okay. This is
I've
not
been
okay.
championing that for everyone. Everyone tells me I'm the media, but I'm like, no, they're human beings too. So I'm on your side. But lost की बात करते हैं, ऐसे जिंदगी में कोई moment था when you felt lost? You were lost.
मतलब अगर उसको काम से कनेक्ट करूं या अपनी ऑफ कोर्स जो बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट लाइफ है हिस्सा मेरी जर्नी इंडस्ट्री में ऑफ कोर्स आई फेल्ट लॉस्ट वेरी लाउड एंड क्लियर फॉर अ रियली लॉन्ग टाइम एंड आफ्टर माय फर्स्ट फिल्म आई जस्ट लॉस्ट कि अच्छा मतलब अब क्या करना है, सेकंड फिल्म कैसे करते हैं, सेकंड फिल्म कैसे करनी है और कैसे क्या होनी चाहिए। अच्छा ये रोल ठीक है पर मैं ये रोल तो अच्छा नहीं है, बट हाँ पर अभी यही है तो अच्छा तो और अभी यही चल रहा है। मैंने कहा, अच्छा ठीक है। तो मुझे सच में नहीं समझ आता था दैट हाउ डू यू एक्सप्रेस एंड हाउ डू यू टेल पीपल दैट दिस इज व्हाट यू वांट टू डू और दिस इज व्हाट यू आर केपेबल ऑफ डूइंग। I was told, or I was under the impression that your work is the best, is your portfolio, is your best expression of your capability. Then you realize, no, that's not enough. There's so many things, there's so many factors, and of course we've spoken about it before, and a lot of people are. And so I felt lost, but when the day you acknowledge that, yeah, you're feeling lost and you're not living in a bubble, and you're not trying to um, tell yourself, yeah. I mean, it's all good. If you're not okay, you're not okay, and it's okay to express it, at least with people who are listening to you. And I did that, and so that's why 2019 it happened late, but finally it happened my way. That I said, no, I have to find myself again. I have to find those characters. I have to find myself as an actor. That what am I here for? What am I doing? What difference am I making to my own life or anyone's life? I'm just like one more person added in the industry coming from another city. But what joy was it worth, you know, leaving everything and coming? I had something else planned in mind. But in the end, I think God always has some plans. You just have to trust the process. You have to trust yourself, trust your support system, and stick and stand your ground on things that you really believe you're meant to do something. So that's why it was lost and found.
Yeah, you were lost and found, and we are glad that you found yourself and we found great cinema with you. And Jate Jate, it's Women's Day. A message you want to give, which you think is the pertinent message for women of today, that you would want to tell girls, that something that from your heart you want to tell them. And if you can wish all the lovely ladies a happy Women's Day and the change you as a woman want to see now going forward.
I think I just want to see women celebrating other women supporting each other and making it a better place. I think this is one of my reasons, one of my main motivations, or the reason why I express myself about my journey, not to have any kind of to vent out or I have vented. No, it's not that. It's very easy for me to just keep it to myself also, because you know your truth, your family knows it. But the whole idea is that we only grow in life when we know that when we came in the industry, or we joined this industry, is it a better place now when I leave it? And it should be, and I think it will be. And not just girls from this industry, but any homemaker or anyone who's out there. I feel this is the time to support each other, to hold each other's hands and literally celebrate each other's victories, and work, do something out of whatever gives you passion. You could be a homemaker, you could be 50 years old, you could be 20, you could be 60, 70. There's nothing can ever limit or should ever limit your dreams or your passion, or the fact that that's one regret. I wish I'd done that. You wish you could do it then, it's okay, you can do it now. There's nothing that can hold or that should hold anyone. You all have, I think we women are blessed with the capability of being multitaskers. We can run homes, we can run offices, you're doing it, everyone's doing it. And I would encourage everyone, all each and every woman out there to do something for herself, what she believes in, that she wants to do. And that's it. And it's nothing to prove anything to anyone, but just the sheer joy of just being happy. I think we're very giving as beings. We very, yeah, it's always, that's how God, I think, built us, but they also gave us, उसको हम बोलते हैं एक नारी शक्ति. वो सच में बहुत एक पावरफुल, मुझे लगता है एक शब्द नहीं है, वो एक सोच है. And it's all about just realizing that and supporting literally each other.
Thank you so much. All the very best. Looking forward to more great work from you. Thank you.
Thank you, Pooja. And hopefully next time,
Yes.
I'll make sure that we do this in person.
आप पहले ठीक हो जाओ और फिर हम मिलेंगे.
Absolutely. Thank you, Pooja.
Bye.
If you've liked this interview, please like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram.